Hey, we have now got some of the exhibits are now unsealed. From Lively's anyway. A lot of them are unsealed now. I want to start with Isabela Ferrer's deposition because she did file her own opposition to this being unsealed. So I'm quite curious, I think, about what she has to say. I've had a quick skim. It's funny. But yeah, let's go through it. It is 54 pages. It's not 54 straight pages. There is jumping around. And it's not always clear whether Wayfarer side is doing the questioning or Lively side is. Yeah, I need to, I'll navigate as best possible. But we're starting while she's answering a question. And the answer is that was a call back. So Justin and a reader were on the Zoom call with me. And then I think this is Justin's attorney is doing the questioning here because the objections come from Stephanie Rosa, who is on Blake Lively's side. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to say question when I'm talking about the attorney. Okay, so question. Okay, do you recall how long that Zoom lasted? I would say around 20 minutes. Do you recall the name of the reader who was participating? No. Was it a male or a female? It was a male. Did anything occur during that 20-minute Zoom audition that caused you concern about Mr. Baldoni? No. Anything inappropriate happened during the course of that audition? No. Were you eventually offered the role in this movie? Yes. And is it okay if I refer to it as the young Lily? Yes. When you were offered the role in relation... See, I don't know if it continues on. Yeah. When were you offered the role in relation to the callback? I believe the next week. And how was that offer communicated to you? Over the phone by my manager. Do you know what role, if any, Justin Baldoni had in getting you that role? Rosa objects. Are you asking if I know what I know now or what I knew at the time? What you know now. I believe he had a pretty strong part in the casting process. And I'm sorry, did you finish? Yeah. What is the basis for your belief that he had a strong role in the casting process? From what we spoke about and the way that he spoke about the casting process with me and him being a producer and director on the part or on the movie. Sorry, I do need to just check the page numbers at the bottom to see if it's continuation or not. Okay, question. When, for the first time, did you learn that Justin Baldoni was both acting in the movie, directing the movie, and a producer of the movie? When I got the audition. The email advising you of the role from your managers? Yes. Prior to receiving the email from your manager about the role, were you aware of the project It Ends With Us? No. Had you ever heard of It Ends With Us? Yes. And in what context had you heard of it? A friend of mine had read the book. So there's another actress who's in this film who has not read the book. Her friend did, though, so, that counts. And do you recall what, if anything, your friend told you about the book? It made her cry. Did she tell you why it made her cry? I believe she said something about it being an intense book to read. Anything else that you could recall? No. Do you know who the author of the book is? Yes. And who is the author? Colleen Hoover. Had you ever met Colleen Hoover before your work on this project? No. Did you know who Colleen Hoover was before you began working on this project? No. After you were offered the role, did you read the book? Yes. When, in relation to receiving the offer, did you read the book? I started reading the book in between my first audition and the callback. And did you finish reading it? Yes. Okay, I retract what I said. If this is true. And did you read it just the one time? No. How many times did you read the book? I would say 3 times. It wasn't that good. And is there a reason why you read the book? To inform myself on the character. See, Lively needs to be watching this deposition, taking notes. Was reading the book helpful for you in informing yourself about the character? Yes. Had you ever appeared in any other productions, TV shows, movies, theatre that were based on a book? No. Prior to your work on this project, and sometimes I will say project, and then it seems to cut off, and we jump from page 24 to 68. Okay, so Ferrer answers yes, I'm not sure what to. Can you tell me what happened during the filming of that scene? My co-star and I were filming a sex scene, and after a couple of takes, after cut, Justin Baldoni turned to my co-star and I and said, I know I'm not supposed to say this, but that was hot. Was anyone else present when Mr. Baldoni said that? Yes. Who else was present? The crew that were in the room for the closed set, my co-star, and I don't recall her being there, but I'm assuming the intimacy coordinator. What, if anything, did you say after Mr. Baldoni made that comment? I laughed it off. What, if anything, did Alex, that'd be Alex Neustetter, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but the young Atlas. What, if anything, did Alex say after Mr. Baldoni made that comment? Nothing. Did you and Alex ever discuss that comment subsequently? And then we'd look like we jumped again from 68 to 74, yes. Rephrase the question. Ferrer, wonderful. Question, who referred you to your attorney? My manager. Had you been served with a subpoena before you retained Mr. Michaelman? No. I think you said that there were 3 incidents. There are 3 incidents that you felt were inappropriate or unwelcome actions, conducts, or comments, and we have discussed the intimate scene so far, correct? Yes. Can you tell me about the second incident? And honestly, guys, this incident is just ridiculous. So here we go. Here's her answer. There is a scene in which my character Lily is in her kitchen and the other character, played by my co-star Alex, is making cookies. And there was a note that was a change to the scene in which he was feeding me cookie dough from a spoon. Right, so in the scene, to kind of set the scene almost, the character of young Atlas is feeding cookie dough on a spoon to young Lily, right? And then she goes on, Justin offered that I lick the cookie dough off the spoon and look up at my co-star in a way that deemed to me to be kind of inappropriate given the context of the scene. So her entire problem, this second quote-unquote incident, is whilst being fed cookie dough, two people in love, supposedly, one's being fed cookie dough by the other, Justin Baldoni had the audacity to recommend that her character looks at her co-star, and she felt that was inappropriate. I'm not even sure what to say to that. Like, there are people with real problems in life, and this does not feel like a problem. I don't even know what is inappropriate about that. Making eye contact whilst being fed by someone who cares. Oh, what fucking bullshit is this? Question, did you make any complaint to Mr. Baldoni at that time? No. Rosa objects, so we're still on Baldoni's attorneys. Did you make a complaint to anyone at Wayfarer about that scene? Objection. No. Did you contact your manager about your concerns over the note or change to that scene? No. Did you contact your agent about the note or the change to that scene? No. I mean, what is there to complain about? The director has made the most minuscule, minute change. Rosa so then she's asked, did you complain to Alex that you felt that was not an appropriate change to the scene? Rosa objects, yes. Then they jump again. Anything else that has impacted your opinion of Mr. Baldoni other than what you have already told us? What Alex expressed to me that he experienced on set which had to do with me. Okay, can you tell us about that? The first day I met Alex and the first day I was on set before the intimacy rehearsal, which I had earlier referenced, I was told this after the fact, months later, because Alex expressed that he didn't want me to feel uncomfortable. But Alex told me that he had a private conversation where, while we were on the way to the car to drive to Jersey City, in which Justin pulled Alex aside and said, I really want you to get to know Isabela well, and winked at him. Oh, for fuck's sake. How unreasonable. The director is suggesting that you get to know your co-star well. By the way, it is alleged that they are dating. I just feel like that's important context. Like, they are seen on red carpet events together a lot, and these are events that are nothing to do with It Ends With Us. So, and they've been on holiday together as well a few times. So, yeah, there is whisperings that they are potentially dating. So clearly they took his advice, and it seems like it's worked out really well for them. We don't know the context of the wink. I mean, that just may be, like non-verbal lad speak, but that doesn't mean anything. Oh, God, I knew I was going to be annoyed with this, but here we go. Okay, and then she continues. And then other than that, there was a time, the second to last day before, and then it cuts off. And then we've jumped to page 105 question. And again, I don't know. Yeah, it's still Wayfarer's attorney. Did Miss Lively ever share with you an incident where Mr. Baldoni was in her trailer and crying? I don't recall. Are you aware of Mr. Baldoni or Mr. Heath or anyone from Wayfarer encouraging Blake to film a birth scene in the nude? And then she says no. And I apologize if I have already asked this. Were you ever on set during the filming when Blake was filming? Yes. Did you ever witness Justin Baldoni improvise physical contact with Blake Lively? Objection. No. Did Miss Lively ever complain to you that Justin Baldoni was improvising physical contact with her? No. And then they show her an exhibit marked Exhibit 2. Miss Ferrer, I'm going to show you what we have marked as Ferrer number 2, and I'm going to ask you if you recognize this document. Yes. And at some point in this litigation, were you asked to make a search for any records or communications that Were you asked to make a search for any records or communications that you may have that might be relevant to the claims or defenses in this action? Yes. And is this one of those documents that you retrieved and produced pursuant to the subpoena? Yes. And I think you said in May of 2023, you were filming or on set? Yes, my one day of filming. And did you meet the intimacy coordinator at that time? No. When, for the first time, did you meet the intimacy coordinator? In June, in the intimacy rehearsal. The one that you had already discussed with us? Yes. So Ferrer number 2 is a text exchange, and these are just the little red numbers at the bottom for identification purposes. Was this text exchange your first interaction with Lizzie Talbot, the intimacy coordinator for It Ends With Us? I can't recall if I met her first or if this text was first. And the only reason I ask is on June 16th, 2023 at 7:15 p.m. There is a text at the top that says, "Hey Isabella, it's Lizzie here. Intimacy coordinator for It Ends With Us," which I'm going to assume stands for It Ends With Us. So I'm assuming this may have been your first interaction with Miss Talbot. Yes. And then it goes on to read, "Are you free later this afternoon for a quick chat about the Lily and Atlas scenes? Thanks, Lizzie." Did I read that correctly? Yes. Did you wind up having a chat with Lizzie Talbot about the scenes between you and Alex? Yes. Anything during that conversation with Lizzie Talbot that was concerning? No. If you go to the bottom half of the page, the blue box on June 23rd, 2023 at 5:09, is that a text you sent? Yes. And did you send that text withdrawn? When in relation to filming, did you send this text? This was in the duration of when I was filming. So this was subsequent to the rehearsal. After the rehearsal. And the scene was actually filmed, is that correct? Yes. Can you read what you wrote to Lizzie Talbot? Sure. "Thank you so much for your help. You were incredible, and given I've never done that before, I felt like it was the easiest thing ever, so thank you." And that was sent after an intimate scene had been filmed? Yes. Did you have any issues, concerns, or problems with that scene? Rosa objects, so does Michaelman, who is Isabela Ferrer's really aggressive attorney. Ferrer, other than what I referenced earlier, yes, no. Other than what you have referenced earlier, no. Did you ever complain to Lizzie Talbot about what you testified to earlier? Objection. No. Did anyone prompt you to send this text to Miss Talbot? No. Did anyone ask that you send this text to Miss Talbot? No. So just to be clear, after saying how uncomfortable the intimate scene where Justin Baldoni apparently made reference to it being hot, which I think was an orgasm scene, if I remember correctly, she texted the intimacy coordinator and gloated about how easy it was, given that she'd never done anything like that. So she's both uncomfortable and finding it very easy. Make that make sense? Question. Was this an accurate characterization of how you felt at the time when you sent this text? Objections from Rosa and Michaelman. It's how I felt when working with Lizzie, yes. Was Justin present when the scene was filmed? Yes. Was he acting as director at the time when the intimate scene was, and then they jump. Why were you of the opinion, so she's being asked a question now, why were you of the opinion that Justin Baldoni was the best con artist you had ever witnessed? Prepared to be annoyed, people. I think I, at this time, believed that he, due to us all seemingly doing our press without him, there had been a narrative that was spun, in which he had been victim to us all bullying him and icing him out of press and out of all of these things, in which then he was able to play up this narrative that he had been a victim to us bullying him, which I obviously don't think I ever bullied him. But I guess I saw the way that things were playing out online as an ingenuine narrative. So I guess I associated that with a con artist. That was the description that I used. Okay. Was it Justin's idea that you and the other cast members in Colleen do press without him? There's objections from Michaelman and Rosa, and then they jump. So we don't get that answer, which is annoying. Okay, on page IF28, in the middle, you wrote, absolutely, I really hope he feels one day morally responsible for promoting bullying towards us after the way he's treated us already. And I'm grateful I'm not taking it too personally, and I'm aware that it's bullshit. I'm going to stop there. How did Justin promote bullying towards you? Given the online hate that I was getting, it seemed like there was nothing being done to speak out against the bullying that was happening to the women and the cast, while he was going along with the rest of his press run. And I assume anybody that was online would have seen what was going on. I mean, if we're talking about at the time, like August 2024, I did not see bullying or hate towards Isabela Ferrer. I saw it towards Blake Lively because of the ridiculous marketing of her alcohol and hair care crap. But no one said anything about Isabela Ferrer. If we're talking about lately, well, yeah, it's because no one understands why she sent Justin a really nice text message, saying how great it was working with him and what a safe environment he created for her, blah, 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 just to turn around and be a complete and utter bitch and dodge a subpoena by basically telling Wayfarer to pass it on to her hairdresser. I'm paraphrasing. It wasn't the hairdresser. It was her agent or something stupid like that when, she had accepted service of Lively's with no faff or fuckery. It really pisses me off. That's why people don't like her. It's also not Justin Baldoni's job to come out and defend her. She continues. So also from what I had gathered information-wise from people such as Blake, there's her problem. That's the problem. You got the information from Blake. Blake talks out of her arsehole. But that's where she's gone wrong, is she listened to Blake Lively. Also, from what I had gathered information-wise from people such as Blake, it was kind of assumed that due to hiring a PR crisis manager, this kind of narrative was starting to get spun online. Right, so then they jump again. I think your answer was, this is the attorney reading back. I think your answer was, I think at that point that the fact that he wasn't recognizing that something was happening was enough for me to not want to speak to him. And I think you are referring to the something happening as the negative online comments. Is that correct? Yes. Objection. Were you seeing any negative online comments about Justin Baldoni? No. Well, that's not true either. The only negativity that you saw was towards your fellow actors and myself. And yourself? Mainly me. Mainly her. What? Rosa objects. You can put that to one side. Isabela, I'm going to show you, and then they jump to another page. Right, and then she's answering no, I don't know what to. Question, did Blake Lively ever suggest to you that this movie is a girls' night out kind of movie? Rosa and Michaelman object. No. She suggested to everyone else, like the world, who it was. In the next sentence of that same text, you wrote, Justin has been playing all of this up because he knows he's about to get his shit exposed. So he's hyping her up and then playing the victim at the same time. My God, what is this? What is she doing? Literally, what is she sitting here doing while saying all this? What did you mean when you said Justin has been playing all of this up? Farah? I think I meant the bullying and the narrative that was coming out after the premieres and after it was deemed by the public on social media that me and Blake and the rest of the cast didn't care about the real meaning of this movie. And given his, again, lack of really speaking up for any of us or talking or coming out publicly to even defend, not Blake, but even just me. It doesn't matter if he defends Blake, but, he should be defending me here. I found it to be kind of in line with then him promoting himself and his voiced opinions about domestic violence and him being able to kind of be the only person to talk about that. So it seemed to me that he was playing this narrative up that we don't care and that he does. That is annoying. I saw plenty of interviews where Justin spoke up really sweetly about Isabela Ferrer and Blake Lively and all the other, Christy Hall, Alex Sachs, all of them, Colleen Hoover. Do you know if Justin wanted to participate in the press with you? Objection. I don't know. Do you know if he wanted to participate in the press with Blake Lively? Objection. I don't know. And here we are. She doesn't actually know, but she's got a very strong opinion about it anyway. Do you know if he wanted to participate in press with Colleen Hoover? Objection. Yes. You know that he did want to? Michaelman objects, so does Rosa. I know that he was going to, and I think we jump from page 100, from page 190 to 208. Halfway through a question, so bear with me, I'm just reading what is literally here in front of me. She wrote, instead of whatever the writer said about bring your girlfriends wear florals. Objection. And then Isabella. I think she is referencing Colleen saying something in an Instagram post. Do you recall what Colleen's Instagram post was? I feel like it might have been a joint Instagram with her and other castmates in which the caption was or had like something under those terms, but I don't recall a specific post. Okay, you responded right, which is just wild because the only reason we were told to speak like that was through the studio and Justin is only speaking on DV to make everyone look bad. I mean, that is an incredibly rage-inducing thing to have to read someone say. Was it the studio who advised you of how to market this film? Michaelman objects. Isabela Ferrer, from what I was told. Yes, well, I wonder who told her that. And did you ever speak with Justin as to why he was speaking on domestic violence? No. What is the basis for your opinion or your text that Justin was only speaking on domestic violence to make everyone look bad? It's a good question. I think the opinion was based off the context that I had gotten, we can all guess from who, about the timing of when he decided to speak on it. When we were told not. And I think the studio I'm referencing is Wayfarer. She's wrong. It was Sony that wanted to move away from speaking about domestic violence. Wayfarer pushed hard for, the partnership with No More for references to domestic violence. Sony didn't want it. So she is completely wrong in all of this. And no one has corrected her, by the way. And she hasn't bothered to find out. She's completely clueless. She continues, so I think the dichotomy of Wayfarer telling us not to speak on it, and then Justin going and speaking on it, kind of looked to me, in conclusion, like he was trying to make it look like we wouldn't want to talk about it. It was Sony's marketing plan that steered the focus away from domestic violence. Justin wanted... He's had such a focus on domestic violence from the moment he optioned the book. He's involved survivors and all kinds of things. I'm so bloody annoyed at the spin. And the worst thing is, right, is at the time of this deposition, the facts were out there. They were in the complaints from both sides, right? We saw Wayfarer's complaint, an amended complaint. We saw the evidence. We saw what Wayfarer said specifically about, how they were pretty much silenced on talking about domestic violence. How Blake Lively didn't want to talk about domestic violence. And she still got this opinion at the deposition. Do you not say, she could say at the time, this is what I believe, this is what I was told, I've since learned, but she's not done that. Okay, sorry, my child is still off school following her surgery, so there might be a bit of background, sorry. Okay, question. And was that anything more than an assumption on your part? Rosa objects. It was an educated guess. There we go. It wasn't even that educated. What went into you forming that educated guess? Me being... Sorry, 1 second. Right, sorry about that. Okay, so what informed that educated guess? Me being told that I couldn't speak on domestic violence by his production company and then him going and speaking on it. Anything other than that? No. And at the point of this text, had you already viewed his cut or a portion of his cut of the movie? I had seen, I think, two scenes he had shown me, like portions of my scenes during reshoots months prior. And where did he show that to you? During reshoots, one set. Is that at the New Jersey location? Yes. Was there anything that happened during those reshoots that was inappropriate? Rosa objects. No. Was there anything about him showing you those two scenes that was inappropriate? I'm assuming that we jump. Yeah, we jump, so I'm glad I didn't continue that then. So if she's answered yes to something, it's not the question that we just covered. What kind of job did you hold before? I think at this point, because Shouster is the one who's objecting now, and he is an attorney who works at Fritz's law firm, and he represents Wayfarer. So the fact that he's now objecting makes me think that Stephanie Rosa is now the one questioning. Okay, had you ever worked in the entertainment industry before? Professionally, no. Prior to joining the Ends With Us, had you ever received training on harassment in the workplace? No. You know, I can't help but notice a common theme here with lively attorneys in depositions is that they seem fixated with whether anyone had been trained on harassment more than had any actual harassment taken place. Prior to joining the Ends With Us, had you ever received a training on appropriate workplace behaviour? Shouster objects. No. And when you started working on the film, did you withdraw? Did Wayfarer provide you with any workplace harassment training in connection with the Ends With Us? No. So what we can deduce from all of that is that she hadn't received any kind of harassment training. And, you know, her knowledge of what constitutes inappropriate behaviour or harassment in the workplace comes from Blake Lively, which is rather self-serving. Do you recall receiving, for example, an employee handbook that contained policies with respect to harassment or discrimination? No. Did you attend any sort of video training or online course about safe work environments or sexual harassment in connection with the film? No. If I use the word the film during these questions, will you understand that I'm referring to It Ends With Us? Yes. Okay, great. Did you understand whether there was a human resources department in connection with the film? Objection. Not really, no. Did you understand whether there was someone that you could go to if you had concerns about the workplace behaviour in connection with the film? I assumed there would be if I needed to, but I didn't think about it really. Because she clearly didn't need to. Do you, even as you sit here, have any understanding of who that person who you could have raised your concerns about behaviour on set would be? No. Do you know if Wayfarer has a human resources department? Shouster objects. I don't know. Were you ever provided any sort of hotline that you could call in connection with the film if you had concerns about the workplace? Shouster objects. Farrer, no. And that's not true because it was on the call sheets which everyone received, including her. Were you provided with any anonymous email that you could contact if you had concerns about behaviour in connection with the film? No. Do you have an understanding as to what legally qualifies as a complaint? And then it cuts off. And then we start further later on, no. She's answering something no. Earlier in your testimony, you spoke about 3 incidents that made you uncomfortable on set. Do you recall them? Yes. I believe the first one was a comment from Mr. Baldoni along the lines of, "That was hot," following an intimate scene. Is that right? Yes. Why did that make you uncomfortable? It didn't feel appropriate in a work environment, and given that it was not necessarily like a note of any kind to do with my acting, it felt out of place and strange to hear about a scene, especially a scene that is meant to be PG scene about two young teenagers having a very innocent experience intimately. It felt out of place to hear my director say that as a personal thing to me and my co-star. I find it odd that she's suggesting that it's a PG scene when it's a sex scene. Okay, question. You felt that the comment was directed to you, personally. Shasta objects. It felt like it was directed to me and my co-star, or co-star personally, yes. You mentioned that. Did you say the scene was meant to be an innocent experience? Yeah, the context of the scene is that my character was losing her virginity. How is that PG? And the way it was described in the script and kind of broken down with the intimacy coordinator is that it shouldn't have been sexy or hot or any term like that. And it was much more so meant to be, innocent, leaning more so towards a PG kind of intimate experience. I don't understand that. Did you have a conversation with the intimacy coordinator in which she mentioned that the scene in which your character loses her virginity was not meant to be sexy or hot? Just a thought process here, but let's assume that Justin Baldoni did say that. Could he not have meant, hot as in like great, or you nailed it, the scene, given that it was her first time doing anything like that? And I guess when young characters are having the losing their virginity experience, it's supposed to be a bit kind of, it's not supposed to be, all BDSM and everything, but it's supposed to be kind of a bit clumsy and, exploratory and so on and so forth. And maybe he just meant hot as in, yeah, you did great. I don't know. I just feel like, who's to say that it means sexy? Do you know what I mean? I'm just spitballing here, but I don't know. I think he was just trying to encourage her. I think so much of this crack has been completely taken out of context. And it's just clumsy word choice. Okay, we're going to continue with her response. I recall having a discussion, not with those exact words, but along the lines of specifically to do with certain movements that we had choreographed, and that it shouldn't necessarily feel adult. Do you recall whether, in rehearsing the intimate movements for that scene in which your character loses her virginity, Mr. Baldoni suggested or recommended particular sexual positions that were more adult than innocent? No. So the comment from Mr. Baldoni with respect to withdrawn. So after you filmed a scene in which your character was to lose her virginity is when Mr. Baldoni commented that was hot. Quote, I'm not supposed to say this, but that was hot. Yeah. He prefaced this with, I know I'm not supposed to say this. I can't remember I'm not sure if he said, quote, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this or I'm not supposed to say this, but I know that not supposed to say this was in the context. The second instance that you mentioned that made you feel uncomfortable, I believe was it at a rehearsal? Oh, apologies. It was a scene in the kitchen, is that right? Yes. And why did that scene make you feel uncomfortable? I come and object. Let me rephrase. You mentioned that there was an incident in which Mr. Baldoni gave you a note about licking cookie dough off your co-star's finger and looking up at him. Is that right? Michaelman objects. So does Shouster. No, it was a spoon. But of course, Rosa's going to think it's a finger because that would make more sense why she's grumbling about this. But no, it was a spoon. It was a spoon in which he was feeding me the cookie dough. But yes, it was a note to lick it and look up at my co-star in a manner that I immediately kind of associated with something that had a sexual undertone. Yeah. What did you associate with it? Michaelman objects. I will rephrase. And then Shouster objects. The note about licking cookie dough off a spoon and looking up at your co-star that Mr. Baldoni gave you, is it correct that you were uncomfortable with that? Shouster objects. It's not that I wasn't comfortable with it, but I found it to be inappropriate. God. Why? Yes! Exactly. Why? It didn't make sense to me in the scene that we were filming that my character would do that kind of thing, given that she was 16 and in high school. Your character may have been 16 in high school, but she was happily losing her virginity and having an orgasm. What is this? So now what she's saying here is it's actually not that what Justin Baldoni suggested for the scene is inappropriate at all. And she admitted it didn't even make her uncomfortable in reality. It's just that she didn't think it was right. So instead of voicing that and trying to offer creative input, as most actresses do, she's come and whinged about it. She's probably been told by Blake Lively that it was inappropriate, when it's actually not. If someone is lovingly feeding you cookie dough or whatever, just something off a spoon, what is inappropriate about looking at them in the eyes? And this is the first thing of all of this crap that I'm going through that's been so far from all the unsealed stuff. And I'm already mad. We continue, because there's another 20 pages of this. You mentioned that you associated that note with something that had a sexual undertone, right? Yes. What is the sexual, and then it jumps because even, I'm sure Lively's attorney's like, well, what's sexual about it? Okay, so we jump to another page. Halfway through a question, something in addition to being one of the lead actors and the director, Mr. Baldoni was also a co-chairman of Wayfarer Studios. I think so, yes. Did you have any concerns about Mr. Baldoni acting as an actor, director, and co-chairman of the studio before joining the film? No. And looking back, do you have any concerns about him acting in those three roles simultaneously? I don't have concerns. I mean, given the context of everything that has happened now, it's kind of hard not to look at it with some sort of bias. Yeah. It is hard not to look at it biased now, but I think it's a lot of power in a project. Yeah, that's almost exactly word for word what Blake Lively said. Did you also mention that Alex shared with you when he met Mr. Baldoni, he commented something to the effect of, I really want you to get to know Isabela, and then winked at him? Yeah, it was after the first day Alex and I met, and it was the first day on set in the location in New Jersey when I had just been driven out. I was introduced to Alex and I met, and then this is according to Alex a couple of months later, so this is complete hearsay, by the way. When there was a moment when I was getting away, when there was a moment when I was away from both of them, and we were getting ready to go to Jersey City again, or not again, for the first time, from in New Jersey. Justin pulled Alex aside and said that he wanted Alex to get to know me really well, and yes, winked at him. And you were uncomfortable learning about that interaction? Yes. Why is that? Because I had just met Alex, and that was my director, and to insinuate something of that kind of manner, I found to be inappropriate. Did you feel that comment from Mr. Baldoni that Alex should get to know you and then winking was sexualizing you? Now I'm just going to check this as continued. Yes, it is continued. So her answer, yes. And again, I reiterate for the audience, it's complete and utter hearsay. It's someone else recanting a conversation to her months after the conversation happened. Okay, question. I'm going to turn your attention to Exhibit 15. Oh no, sorry. The last exhibit we looked at, Exhibit 14. Okay, we are looking at the last one? Yes. And this is a document that counsel for the Wayfarer parties asked you about earlier. Do you recall reviewing this document? Yes. And in the first paragraph, the first blue paragraph on the page, you were reflecting to Mr. Baldoni, I couldn't have asked for a more welcoming environment. Do you see that? Yes. And at the time that you wrote this, was that an accurate representation of how you felt about the workplace? Yes, because I think two things can be true at the same time. So I think I can feel welcome in a place, and people can still say things that and people can still say things that are inappropriate. So yes. Looking back, do you believe that the workplace on set was welcoming? Shasta objects. Overall, from everybody that was on set, because there were a lot of people, yeah, I think that the things that he said to me definitely made it less welcoming. But again, at the time, it was my first film, and I think I was just really happy to be there. So it's hard to differentiate when that's your experience. Do you feel like, as a first-time actor on a set who hadn't received any training about harassment or safe work environment, you were in a position to understand whether his appropriate was behaved? That's, that's how it was written. It doesn't make sense. You were in a position to understand whether his appropriate was behavior. I think that's supposed to mean behavior was appropriate in the context of the workplace. Michael objects. Can you repeat the question? Yes, please do. Sorry, yes, I can rephrase it. You wrote here, you created such a comfortable and safe space. As you sit here today, do you feel that Mr. Baldoni created a comfortable and safe space for you on set? I think he created a space where a safe and comfortable space in the sense of my art and in the sense of the character that I was building. I felt safe and comfortable enough to explore the themes I had to explore, which were very intense. I think on a personal level, relationship-wise, I wouldn't necessarily call it comfortable. But I think that I was trying to inference or reference in this text was how I felt creatively and as an actor. So you felt safe in your ability to perform as an actor? Yes, Shasta objects, but not necessarily safe on a more personal level given his comments. Shasta objects, that you deemed to be inappropriate. I think I felt safe, but I think that even if I felt safe, what he said wasn't appropriate in the way that if I were crossing the street and somebody whistled at me, I may feel like I'm safe from them, but I still think what they do is inappropriate. Fair enough, you can set that exhibit aside. If you can reach for exhibit 30. Michaelman asks which one. Shouter says the EPK, I don't know what the EPK is. Rosa says correct. If you turn to page 9 of that exhibit, you gave this interview reflected in exhibit 13 in June 2023, correct? Yes. At that point, how many days had you personally been in set? I don't remember. Just check this one. Right, so now we're jumping. Question. Did you want to appear in press and promotion with Mr. Baldoni? I didn't really mind. Prior to hearing the other words that were expressed about him, I was happy to do anything at that point. Right, so it's other words that were expressed about him. Prior to hearing the other words that were expressed about him, I was happy to do anything at that point. There you go. We now have evidence that she was poisoned against Justin Baldoni. Question. And once you learned about the experiences that other people had with Mr. Baldoni on set, did you want to appear in press and promotion with him? Not particularly. Objection. Why not? If a group of people are saying pretty negative things about a person, that kind of validates the situations that I also experienced on set that I thought were inappropriate. It didn't really make me excited to work with him again. Did hearing that Miss Lively or Miss Slate had uncomfortable experiences on set impact how you felt about comments that were made to you or about you by Mr. Baldoni? Oh my god, Jenny Slate, who was offended she was given $15,000 to get a safe apartment for her child and did not want to be made to go out and see her own fans. I sincerely hope that's not who Isabela Ferrer is basing her quote-unquote experiences on. Ferrer, yes. How? It validated why I thought they were inappropriate. And is that because other people were feeling the same way? Shouster objects. Yes. Do you believe that? Or was your impression that Miss Lively genuinely felt uncomfortable with Mr. Baldoni's conduct towards her? Shouster objects. That's a bit of a leading question. Can you read that back for me or restate it? Rosa, yeah. Was it your impression that Miss Lively generally felt uncomfortable with Mr. Baldoni's conduct towards her? Shelster, I renew my objection. Ferrer, yes. Was it also your impression that Miss Slate genuinely felt uncomfortable with Mr. Baldoni's conduct towards her? Objection, yes. Was it also your impression that Miss Hoover genuinely felt uncomfortable with Mr. Baldoni's conduct? Objection, yes. Did Miss Hoover discuss with you a dinner that she had with Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath around May 2024 timeframe? Yes. What did she tell you about that dinner? She told me that it was with her friend Taryn Fisher, and that it felt to her that Justin and Jamie were trying to persuade her not to like Blake, or that they wanted her to have a certain image of Blake, that she was not a good person, and I remember it making her expressing that it made her feel uncomfortable and suspicious, and why would they be so adamant on having her not like Blake if they didn't feel like maybe it had something against them? I mean, or they could have just been reiterating their personal experiences. Did Miss Hoover share with you at that time that Miss Lively had raised concerns about Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's conduct on set? There was a general understanding that Blake and others in the cast, like the older people in the cast, the older people, Blake and others, the older people in the cast, didn't like him. But there was never any specifics really referenced at that point yet, other than what Colleen had said to me about her own experience. It's interesting because if Justin and Jamie raised their concerns about Blake, Colleen Hoover is suspicious of it. When Blake raises her quote-unquote lies or concerns about Justin and Jamie, is to be believed? How? Question, you attended an event called Book Bonanza, right? Yes. Where was that? In Texas, Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas, I think. In Texas. Texas. Okay, that's good enough. And was that roughly in June, July 2024? In June, yes. What is Book Bonanza? It's a festival that I think Colleen had been doing for a long time. That is for book fans, and yeah. Who else attended Book Bonanza from the film? Brandon Sklenar, the producer, Alex Sachs, was there, Blake and Colleen, and me. Okay. So the entire cohort of people we think have got something to gain from all of this. How come young Atlas wasn't invited, and how come? I can't remember the character's name. Jenny Slate's husband, the guy who plays Jenny Slate's character's husband, he wasn't there. Just people who were either having sleepovers with Blake Lively or were in the pocket of Blake Lively in terms of the rights to the second book, or wanted a role of Batman from Blake Lively's friend, James Gunn. Who invited you to attend Book Bonanza? Colleen. Mr. Baldoni did not attend Book Bonanza, correct? Yes. Do you have an understanding of why he did not attend? Colleen expressed to me that he was meant to go, and then due to the recent live events that had happened with him, I think the dinner that they had, it seemed again the post-production conflict that was occurring. Colleen didn't feel comfortable doing the festival with him anymore, and so took him off that. I don't know if it was her specifically taking him off, but I know that it was meant to be him, and then it wasn't, and then it was Blake and Brandon, and then I was invited on. Colleen expressed to you something to the effect that she wasn't comfortable with Mr. Baldoni attending Book Bonanza? Yes. And did she share with you that she wasn't comfortable with Mr. Baldoni attending Book Bonanza because of the behaviours on set as well as at the dinner that she had been to with him? Objection. Yes, and I think the main thing that I remember her having discomfort with was the fact that he had been lying about her religion, and her religious faith and telling people that she was of Baha'i faith when she wasn't. I have literally never read that. Nowhere have I seen that. I think that was the main thing about discomfort about it. So out of all of this, the thing that she was most uncomfortable was him suggesting that she was of the Baha'i faith. I've literally not ever read anywhere Justin Baldoni suggesting that Colleen Hoover is Baha'i faith. If you could turn to Exhibit 3 in front of you, I'm looking at the page stamped IF18. I believe this is the text chain between you and two friends, right? Yes. And at the bottom of the page, over the page stamped IF18, you write, I know now that I will be doing a press event in Dallas with Colleen in Justin's place. Colleen disinvited him. Do you see that? Yes. And does that refresh your recollection that Colleen disinvited Justin from attending Book Bonanza? That was a bit of an assumption. I can't say for sure. Exactly, that's hearsay. It's a conversation with two friends. I can't say for sure, but from my recollection, I do think she definitely had a say in whether or not he was there. Okay, are you aware of anyone other than Miss Hoover uninviting Mr. Baldoni from Book Bonanza? No. There was a cut of the film screened at Book Bonanza, right? Yes. Are you aware if the cut that was screened was Blake's cut or Justin's cut? Blake's cut. Did you have an understanding that Miss Hoover supported Blake's cut of the film? Yes. What was the fan reaction to the cut at Book Bonanza? Objection. Very positive. Standing ovation? Objection. Yes. You were at Book Bonanza, correct? Yes. You were sitting in the audience? Yes. Did you watch the screening of the film? Yes. At Book Bonanza? And how did you observe the fans react in that moment? It was really beautiful. It was a really wonderful experience, very emotional, overall, extremely positive. In connection with promoting the film, you were instructed not to focus on domestic violence, is that right? Yes. And you attended some promotional events that were floral-based, is that right? Or are you aware of Wayfarer hosting floral-based events in connection with the film? Shasta objects. I think so, yes. Are you aware, for example, of Wayfarer hosting floral pop-ups? Yes. In connection with the film? I recall that, yes. Are you aware if Mr. Baldoni attended any of these floral-themed events in connection with the film? I'm not sure. Did you understand whether Wayfarer had helped develop the plan that the film would be marketed, about how the film would be marketed? I found out after the fact, like after the movie came out. I didn't know while promo was happening who was controlling what. Who do you recall communicating to you, if anyone, how you were to market the film? I believe it was through Sony. I don't really recall, to be honest, I just remember showing up. You testified earlier something to the effect that in the August 2024 timeframe, you came to a conclusion that Mr. Baldoni, are we jumping here? No. That Mr. Baldoni, something about an ingenuine narrative. Do you remember that? Yes. What did you mean when you said ingenuine narrative? This is regarding, I believe it was in connection with the text, the best con artist I have ever witnessed. Yes, I believe that references the fact that he was doing press for in support of domestic violence victims, and it felt ingenuine because we were instructed, from what I was informed, by his production company to not speak on domestic violence, and then he went out of his way and did his own press run in the United States, where he did only speak on domestic violence. And then the rest of the cast, mainly the women, got cyberbullied online for it. He didn't do anything to stop it or to tell people that was inappropriate and that they shouldn't cyberbully people. So that was the part that felt ingenuine. Fair to say you received some amount of online hate for not focusing on domestic violence in connection with promoting the film? Shasta objects. Yes. And fair to say that Ms. Lively also received some amount of online hate for the manner in which she promoted the film? Objection. Yes. Without focusing on domestic violence? Yes. And you were instructed, in fact, not to focus on domestic violence and promoting the film? Objection. Yes. Did Wayfarer ever make any sort of public statement to your knowledge, acknowledging that they had instructed you or other cast members not to focus on domestic violence in connection with promoting the film? Objection. They never did. Are you aware of Wayfarer or Mr. Baldoni making any statement acknowledging the bullying or negative press that you were experiencing online? No. Are you aware of Wayfarer or Mr. Baldoni making any press statement or acknowledgement of the bullying or negative press that other cast members were experiencing online? Objection. No. Around the August 2024 timeframe, did you noticed an upswell of negativity about Miss Lively online? Yes. Attacks that she was a bully or a mean girl, for example? I think we know, Jen. Yes. Okay, we start with Shasta objecting. Isabela Ferrer, working in what sense? Did you find her to be supportive of you as a co-star, for example? Yes. And do you recall Miss Lively advocating for you to get a presenting credit in the film? Presenting? Yes. A presenting credit. Do you believe that your relationship with Miss Lively or Mr. Reynolds has biased your testimony today in any way? Shasta objects. No. Going back to certain of the comments that Mr. Baldoni made during the filming, were you and Alex dating at the time Mr. Baldoni inquired whether you were single? No. Did you interpret Mr. Baldoni's comments to Alex to suggest that he should pursue you romantically or sexually? Yes. Did you feel it was appropriate for your boss to encourage your co-star to pursue you romantically or sexually? How did she get all that from a conversation she wasn't part of? And the only words uttered were, according to Alex, were, you should get to know Isabela. And the wink, that could have just been like, oh my God, this is so much overthinking going into this. Shasta objects. Ferrer, no. Rosa, nothing further. Shasta, that was 5, that was very fair. Miss Ferrer, I just have a few and then we're going to get you out here. Sounds good. When Mr. Baldoni made the comment Michael, do you mind saying again? I couldn't hear. No problem. When Mr. Baldoni made the comment after the intimate scene between you and Alex and used the words, that was hot, what were you wearing? Okay, well, I mean, it stops there. There's no answer for that. So that is the deposition excerpt of Isabela Ferrer. It is, that's just wild. She's taken offense to him saying that a scene was hot, which, again, she does say it didn't make her uncomfortable, she just thought it was inappropriate. But I mean, we do not know the context of what Baldoni meant by hot either. We just don't know. He could have just meant, oh, that was great, well done. It could have been to just reassure her, given it was her first time of doing like an intimate scene in the film, or being in the film full stop, that she'd nailed it, she'd done really well, I don't know, encouragement. And it just, a bad choice of words, or, just shows the kind of the age difference, maybe, between Baldoni and Ferrer. I can't imagine that it meant anything like what she's saying it is. It's just ridiculous. The one that really gets on my nerves is the spoon-licking thing, because, the scene is there, that he's feeding her, his character, young Atlas, is feeding young Lily, her character, cookie dough off a spoon. So that is the already set as the scene. But Justin, kind of just adds, just look at his eyes. Look into his eyes. I mean, that's just establishing a connection between them. I don't see how it's inappropriate, but also say, well, I thought it was inappropriate because they're only 16 and they're in high school, when, they also have sex. Is it inappropriate to look into them, since when is looking into someone's eyes inappropriate? Well, regardless of your age. When is eye contact suddenly become inappropriate? I think there's too much is being put into that. That's just wild. And if that is what she thinks is, if that's what passes for making people uncomfortable, then honestly, the youth of today needs help. Sorry, but they do. And then the final one, the actor who plays young Alex, who is, by the sounds of it, they are now dating because one of the questions there was, at the time, were you dating? So I'm guessing that they are now dating, which is what I said before I even read out that question. Um, he relayed to her months after a conversation, "Oh yeah, by the way, Justin's told me to get to know you," and then went. And suddenly she feels sexualized. I mean, oh my god. That is hearsay, because you needed Alex Nostata himself to be sitting and saying, "Oh yeah, me and Justin had this conversation." She's relaying third hand a conversation that she was not party to. So it can't be tested like, if you had Alex Nostata, you could say to him, well, how many months after did you relay this conversation? How can you be sure that you relayed it accurately? Describe the wink. You would have been able to test what he was saying, but you can't do that here when she is relaying a conversation that has happened that she has not been party to, and it's just being relayed to her, after time has passed. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. So this is the first document I've gone through from the Great Unsealing, which is going to take a long time to get through documents. I'm not going to rush. I am going to take my time because, as always, I read everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So bear with me. I will get through it as quickly as possible, but I want to get to that one.